Welcome back to The Nation. I'm speaking with Justice Minister Judith Collins. Welcome back, Minister. Let's talk about something else that's in your portfolio, which is alcohol and the changes that you're trying to make to the system here. Are you still looking at the issue of a minimum price, or is that off the table now?
Well, the Justice Ministry is conducting some work on that, and of course minimum price has been introduced into Scotland, but whether or not it's had any effect yet is something that the Ministry is looking at.
So it's a possibility then?
Unlikely in this bill, because we certainly don't want to bring in a minimum price if it's going to be just maximum profits for the alcohol industry, which is one of the reasons that the alcohol industry is generally quite supportive of it.
OK, John Key has said it's been tried in Scandinavia. I'm just trying to gauge how much support you have here for this in Cabinet. He says it's quite expensive and everyone still gets wasted. Does it have much support at all? Not
particularly, but having said that, we said that we'd have a review of it, and if the evidence comes out otherwise, then I would obviously take the matter forward. But at the moment, I'm unconvinced. OK, you say this is the first liquor bill, I think, that moves to restrict rather than relax liquor laws. Some would suggest that actually you just keeping cosy with the liquor companies. Well, not at all, actually. The alcohol industry is generally quite unhappy with many of the steps that I'm taking. But the fact is, we've got 85% of New Zealanders drink alcohol, and the vast majority of them do not abuse alcohol. Alcohol is our legal drug, our legal social drug. We use it all the way through society. But it's important to understand that actually the vast majority of New Zealanders are quite happy to have a glass of wine, and they don't. Vast majority of New Zealanders, certainly all around the country, people are saying, well, put some restrictions where they need to be sensible, be pragmatic, be middle of the road. Don't go off and believe everyone has a problem with alcohol. The vast majority don't. OK, then you look at something like the Wellington Sevens. Yes. And that certainly shows, that's a pretty good snapshot of New Zealand, really. There's various age groups that go there. That's a massive boozing event, isn't it? That's indicative of what our drinking culture is like, surely? No, I think what it is, it's indicative of the Wellington Sevens and the fact that it's a big party. People go out and do really stupid things, but actually they don't generally come to any great harm. OK, the licensing inspectors aren't particularly happy with you. They've been quite critical of... They should be very happy. I've been all sorts of changes in to assist them. Sure, but then there's been, in essence, there's been, a back down on RTDs, there's been a back down on the purchasing age. No, I voted to raise the age, so it was the conscience vote in Parliament, and the majority of Parliament actually voted to keep the purchase age as it is. It's a difficult line, isn't it, that the National Party walks, because you're trying to draw a line here, as you'd mentioned, between personal freedom, but also at the same time you need to regulate for personal safety too. Well, but it's true for any party. The majority, quite a substantial majority of Parliament, voted to keep the purchase age at 18. And some of the people who are the most keen to keep it 18 are the people who are saying that I should be tougher on alcohol. So I think, there's a little bit of perhaps hypocrisy in some of those comments. OK, let's touch a little bit on, that toughness that you raised there and whether or not you should be tougher or not. You are something of a tough minister, aren't you? Do you think that's certainly the perception, do you think you need to be, something of a ball breaker to make it in Parliament as a woman? No, I think you need to be very clear about what you want to achieve. I'm very much aware that I'm in a very privileged position, Rachel. Most people, particularly many lawyers, would love to be able to bring about the changes that I can, and I know that I have a time to get things done and I need to get them through. So, I make no apologies for expecting the very best from people who work with me and also from myself, and working really hard to achieve it. Paula Bennett says, and I would back Paula Bennett to know, she's described you as being a woman who's got a bit of mongrel about her. Well, I do know how to say no quite clearly. You're an ambitious woman too, aren't you? Well, I didn't come in here to eat my lunch. Sure. How far does that ambition go? You say you want to be the best minister you can be. How far does that ambition go? Because no one ever really wants to say just how ambitious they are when they're a minister, do they? But how ambitious are you? I want to be the very best that I can be. And when I first came to Parliament, I wanted to be a minister, but of course we needed to get into government. I wanted to be on the front bench, and thanks to people like Don Brash and John Key, I was put onto the front bench, and I worked very hard for it, and I continue. The day that I'm not achieving and I'm not making a difference is the day I leave. Rachel. That's what I want to do. I want to do the very best job. So the Prime Minister's said, has given me Justice, ACC and Ethnic Affairs, and I'm the MP for Papakura. Those are my priorities for my work.
John Key, though, won't be around forever. If that position came up as leader of the National Party, would you put your hat in the ring, if you like?
That would very much depend. The fact is, what I'm seeing is the Prime Minister is there. He's doing an outstanding job. He's asked me to do my job. I'm going to do that the best I can.
That's not a no, Minister, is it?
Well, it's a who knows. It's a hypothetical. And the other thing is that you don't get to be Prime Minister or leader of a party just because you put your hand up. Other people need to support you. So my view is very clearly I will do the best job that the National Party and the people of Papakura asked me to do, whatever that role is.
All right, Justice Minister Judith Collins, very much appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Rachel.